All right, all right. We are live. Happy Friday, everybody. It's so good to be here once again in another edition of a Positivity live stream. And for me, I'm always excited. I'm always happy to be in this place Friday in, Friday out, where we are very intentional to bring the positivity to everyone and to every corners of the earth. So I want to say a big welcome. If you are just joining us, welcome. Happy Friday. I'm saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are joining us from all over the world. If you're here with us, please kindly drop in a comment so that we can know that you are here and so we can be able to shout you out. Now, we take our time to shout our listeners out because you are our MVP. You are the one who makes this event what it is because you are here to support us, because you are here to listen, because you are here to be part of the conversation. It makes the conversation what it is. So drop in a comment, tell us where you are joining us from. All right, we have Christy in the building. Christy, welcome, my friend. Happy Friday. Joining us from Florida. Appreciation to you. It's so good to have you and for being part of our positive community and how we spread positivity one person at a time. We appreciate you. Yes, guys, keep the comment coming. Let us know that you were here with us. All right, we have Leslie in the building. Leslie Flower is saying hello, Zion, from North Carolina, USA. Amazing. In our community, we have people from all over the world, from different continents of the world, who joins us on this event every Friday. So keep dropping the comment. Yes, thank you for shouting out Leslie as well. Christy, that's what we do in this place. We are a team, we are a family. And one thing that we always believe is together we can make things happen. Together we can do so much more. Because at the end of the day, life is no longer a solo sport, but a team sport where we support one another, we help one another to grow and to be able to do far much more. All right, we have the one and only Mr. Kenneth in the building. So Zion Inogero savor the flavor of the awesomeness in you from Superland, Texas, just south of Austin, USA. Thank you so much, Dr. Kenneth, for being here with us. We appreciate you and for always bringing that humor that makes us all feel good and make us to laugh. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you. Yes, guys, keep dropping the comment. Tell us. Ooh, let's see if that's 98-degree Fahrenheit right now where she lives. Amazing. That must be hot. All right. So keep dropping the comment to this conversation. It's a very empowering one. And I believe that it's a conversation that we all are part of, talking about men on how do we support men in our society. It's a series that has been on since the month of June. And because we had a skip last Friday, because last Friday was our gratitude experience. So we will continue this week in the conversation because this is a conversation that we need to say more because we live in a world where much attention is not paid to the mental health of men. And to be able to bring this conversation for the sake of awareness, for people to know, not just to know, to be able to take practical action on what to do and how to support men around them, it's very, very important. Men need support. You must agree with me. So as women, but we'll be diving into women next week. you know, we need to balance the conversation. As much as we're talking about men, there's also a need for us to talk about women. But this week, we are focusing on men, on how we can support men in our society. If you look around, truly men are going through so much that because the society has positioned us in a way where we don't necessarily need to ask about men because everybody assumes that men are strong, men are supermen, men are up there. By the end of the day, from what we established 2 weeks ago, it's we are first humans before we are, either male or female. So the ability for us to recognize the humanity in us, it's very, very important. And that's why we are bringing this conversation. And the good thing about what we do here, it's an open conversation where everyone tends to be part of the conversation. So if you want to join us on stage, you want to be here free. The link is on my screen right now. Yes, that's the link. for you to be able to join on the backstage to share your thought on what are the practical ways that we can support men. Yeah, we know that men needs to be strong, men has to be responsible, men has to be accountable. There's so much expectation when it comes to men, but let's be more intentional about it. Beyond the generic conversation, beyond the generic assumption, what are the practical things that we can do to be able to support men in our society? And I tell you, we have men all around us, either as your husband, as your fiance, as a co-worker, as a colleague, as a LinkedIn connection, as a YouTube connection, as the case may be. Maybe somebody living in your street, the man you meet at the grocery shop, or you meet at the shopping mall. Men are all around us. But what are things that we can do to be able to intentionally support men in our society so that we are above that school of thought of assumption that men are naturally strong and naturally good, as much as that might be true to some extent. But what can we do to make sure that the men who we think are strong get stronger, the men who we think are up there get higher, and to support men intentionally? So that's what this conversation is all about. And if you want to be part of the conversation, you want to join us to stage free, that's the link to join us, and we'll be so glad to have you here with us. All right, so let's chat to some more people who are joining us. We have David Pushkin in the building. So, David, thank you so much. All the way live. This is a very great topic and definitely looking forward to hearing it. You are Chief Encouragement Officer. Approves. Uh-oh. Okay. Approves healing, approves, yes, healing from London, United Kingdom. Thank you so much, Mr. David. We appreciate you for being the Chief Encouragement Officer of our community. It's always amazing to have people like that who are always there to encourage one another, because people need it. That's what people need. Sometimes you don't know how much your word means to people until you say them. And you know what? We live in a time where people can tend to smile, can tend to be happy, but at the end of the day, silently they are going through so much. Deep down, they are going through some emotions, some feelings that they might not be able to talk about. But to just be that person who brings encouragement, who brings positivity, who brings the energy to a room, to a space, to people, goes a long way to make a huge difference and make people find hope and encouragement to keep living. So thank you so much, Mr. David, for all you do and how you bring the positivity and encouragement everywhere you go. Yes, Professor Rosanna, he said, happy Friday to you, Zion. Gratitude all the time from South Carolina. Whoa, we have more persons join us from the US today. Amazing. Okay, we also have UK already. All right, thank you so much. Our brother Kami is in the building. Brother Michael, thank you so much. Yes. Abari Gani, as always, greetings to you. Thank you so much for being here and always supporting us. Yes, Mr. Kenneth, thank you. Yes, that's a Christy. He said, Savo today and every day. Indeed, we do that to Savo every day because every day matters. Every day is an opportunity. Yes, Chrissy says men need safe places. Indeed, profoundly said, and I agree with you with all my heart. Men need safe spaces. But then the safe spaces we're talking about, is it out there or is it something we have to create? Because what might be a safe space for one might not be a safe space for other. What might be a safe space for Zion might not be a safe space for Mr. Kenneth. So we really love to hear more about that because safe space differs and it varies from persons to persons. And diving into the conversation, it's very, very important. But thank you so much, Christy, for that great point that men need safe places. All right. Okay. Yes. I think we will do that now so that we can post the link again so that you can be able to see it. Ooh, yeah, there we go. I'm sure you can see the link now, Mr. David. Yes, I just posted the link in the comment section. And yeah, as well, this is the link on the screen that you can be able to come up on stage and share with us. Yes, my co-hosts are on their way coming. I'm sure Mr. Annie will be here very soon. Jamie sends his regard the same as Lydia and Isa, but surely they will be here if they can. But then the conversation has to go on. Why? Because you are here I am here. Together, we can make this conversation what it is. We believe that men need support, but the main question is, how do we support men? So the man in your life right now, maybe your friend, your colleague, your co-worker, or a family member, a brother, a father, a husband, a fiance, how do you support them? Sometimes we do not really ask this question to ourselves because it's an intentional question we need to ask ourselves. How do we support men? And that's for the women or for the ladies. And if you're a man, how can you be supported? It's a question that goes both ways because sometimes um, people might not really understand how they can support if they don't really know what's going on. So for me, one of the major highlights for me is, how do we support men? As much as that question is being asked, is much more understood when we know more about people, especially the people we want to support. Because we live in a time where men live in so much silence. Why they tend to absorb the pressure, they keep it all in. At the end of the day, nobody knows what's going on within. Nobody knows what they are going through. That's why a few weeks ago we established the fact about vulnerability. That being vulnerable, it's not weakness. Being vulnerable does not mean you are not good enough. Being vulnerable doesn't mean that you are not man enough. But at the end of the day, vulnerability is strength. We all need support. And how can we support you where we don't really know what's going on? How can we support you when we are not really aware about what you are going through? So it's very important that for as much as we are willing, people are willing to say, how do we support you? How do we support men? It's also important that men understand that you deserve to be supported. Like a lot of persons feel, oh, I don't really need the support because I'm a man. I don't need people to be there for me because I'm a man. This ideology, it's common among people because, I tend to have conversation with men week in, week out. And this sentiment has been common to say, oh, I'm a man. I don't need you to check up on me. I'm a man. I don't need you to know how I'm faring. I'm a man. I don't really need somebody to say, oh, how are you doing? All these things happen. But then it is very, very important. Like I said earlier at the beginning of the conversation, as a man, you are first a human. Yes, it is blood that flows through your veins, not water. It's not chemicals, it's blood. And what that means is you have feelings, you have emotions, you can cry, you can be sad, you can grow weary, you can get tired, you can get frustrated, you can get annoyed. All these emotions are valid. And what it means is that you are a person. You are a person. But then most people tend to soak it all up. I don't have to straight to people. People doesn't need to know what I'm really going through. And that's why a lot of people are dying in silence. And like Christy said earlier, he said creating a safe space for people, it's very, very important. Where we create a safe space for men. Are the men in your life having that safe space? And if there's one thing I've learned about safe spaces or supporting men, it's, you know, we should listen more rather than judgment because it is very, very important. As a man, I'm talking from my own perspective. I know a lot of people, you have your thought and idea. That's why we are opening this conversation to everybody so that you can be able to join in the conversation and be able to share your thoughts. Being in a place where I'm being judged, it's very difficult for me to actually express how I feel. Knowing for the fact that, oh, when I say this thing, I'm going to get a backlash, like a sense of judgment, instead of actually really caring or listening to say, okay, what really happened. And that's the society we live in today. Everybody's all about go, go, go. But how many persons really take a stop to actually say, let me listen to what you have to say? And sometimes just listening, it's just the it's just a difference that we need. somebody to listen, somebody to pay attention, somebody to recognize the fact, man, I'm first a human. Because a lot of us, oh, you're a man, man up, be strong, be there as a man. But at the end of the day, being generic, it's not what solves the, it's not what brings the solution. Being generic, it's not what, you know, make people feel good. But the ability for us to be intentional to say, yes, I know you are a man, but what's going on? How are you really? How are you doing? Oh, I'm fine, I'm good, and people move on. But the question is, how are you really? Only a few persons tend to ask that question. So, how do we support men? Be intentional enough to ask them, how are you really? And sometimes the first attempt might not do it. Asking a man, how are you? He can, oh, I'm fine. And he will smile over it and you think he's actually pretty fine. But the ability to say, how are you really? You know, make us take a pause and like, okay, it seems you are very interested. Because when we get a sense of you are interested in how we really are, then it puts us in a place where we tend to be able to really share. But only a few tend to do that. And that's why you see a lot of men buckle up. Oh, she didn't bother to ask again. And maybe he didn't bother to ask again. He's not really interested. And we move on without complaining, without complaining, without having to, having a negative touch towards it. For us, it just becomes normal. But the ability for you to go the extra mile to say, how are you really? Just put us in that place of pause to say, wow, you are really interested in how I'm doing. And then that just gives us a sense of, okay, since you are interested, let me share. Let me talk about how I truly feel. Because like Chrissy said earlier, safe spaces. Sometimes safe spaces is not a location. Safe spaces is not a place. Safe spaces are feelings. Feelings of I'm secured with this person. Those feelings of, oh, from the way you ask, it gave me a sense of trust. It gave me a sense of, oh, I can actually share with you. You know, for most persons, we think, oh, safe spaces is when you go to this particular building or this particular center for men. That's where safe spaces is. No, from my experience, I've come to understand from building relationship with people that safe spaces is not necessarily about locations or building. Safe spaces is a matter of the heart. How do you make me feel when I'm around you? How do you make me feel when I have a conversation with you? How do you make me feel when we're having a chat? That's where safe spaces are being built. If you make me feel loved, if you make me feel supported, if you make me feel seen and heard, tell you that become a safe space for me that I will be able to share with you what it is that I'm currently going through. So we have Mr. David already with us in the building. Let me just yes, Mr. David, welcome. Happy Friday. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
Happy Friday. This is such a
Thank
great
you.
topic. Such a great
Yes.
topic. It's you're so right. Men, everybody needs to talk, but you're right. You were so clear earlier, Zion, and thank you for your kind words on that. Men are perceived as, supermen and, they're so strong and, men and especially men of color, it's hard to have to talk sometimes because to a certain extent, social media and stereotypes will say you must be strong, but you know, true strength comes in showing vulnerability to say I'm not okay and I need help. And it's all about making space to talk and to move forward with positivity, as you say. It's all about that. You know, if you talk and take no action and move in the same place and then you're stuck, then you go nowhere. But, if we hold space for each other to talk and, listen is more important to listen. Sometimes when people talk to you, they don't want an answer. They don't want a solution. They just want to be heard and acknowledged. And that's what's really important. Let's continue to be there for each other, especially as men, you know, be positive, listen, be in community with each other, and stay encouraged. I'll yield the mic there, Zion. Happy Friday.
So David, that was very powerful. And I love it when you say sometimes men does not need solution. Yes, and that's truth. I felt that too. Sometimes I don't even need you to give me a solution or to say, oh, do this and do that. I just need you to listen. It's just about listening, and that can make a huge difference. And for most of the time, when men gets to share, people think, oh, maybe you want me to do something for you, or you want to ask me for something. It's not really about that in most cases. Sometimes just being able to find somebody to talk it with, to share with, to say, okay, this person is actually listening to my story or listening to what I have to say, just make a huge difference. And just by sharing, the pressure that has been piling in within, can just tend to lessen a bit. Because sometimes because of we soak it all in, we absorb it all, we put it all in, it just makes it so overwhelming that you get to a place that the overwhelming feeling just gets you confused, get you tired, get you frustrated, get you annoyed. But the ability to just have somebody in your space to say, you know what, Zion, David, I'm here for you. Talk to me. I'm listening. I just want to hear what you have to say. Just make a huge difference. There's a quote that says sometimes we just need somebody to listen, to hold our hands and give us a big hug. It's not about finding the solution. It's about just being there for me, and knowing that you are there for me can make a huge difference. So thank you so much, Mr. David, for that great contribution.
No problem, sir.
Yeah. I think we have there's a few questions coming up. If you don't mind, I'd just love you to be with us on stage so that you can be able to throw more light on the question that we are going to be asking very soon. But in the meantime, we have our brother Cam with us in the building. Brother Cam, happy Friday. How are you?
I'm fine. And how are you? You doing well?
Very well. Thank you for asking. And how has been your week?
My week? Yeah, it's been great.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I know you
Just
have a
wanted
lot
to
to
come
share
up
with
here and give you some support. I'm glad that Dave came on as well. He was it was good to hear from him too. Very good. Always to hear from you, Dave.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brother Cam. I know um you might have something to share about this from your own perspective or from your personal experience when it comes to how do we support men, or how much men need support when it comes to their mental health. We really love you to share um, a few things with us so that other persons can be able to learn. Because one of the purpose of this conversation is each of us, we all have our experiences as men, as women, as the case may be, and the ability for us to share those powerful, unique experiences is what make a huge difference so that persons can be able to learn from what we've been through, our testimonies, our victories, and how we are be able to survive. So, Brother Cam, I'll just give the mic to you, to just share your thought with us.
All right, I appreciate. Thank you very much. Um, Regarding support for men, I'm going through a transition I myself, and a realization that as a man, I do not have to do everything by myself. You know, I spent about 30, 40. Right from the very beginning, everything has to be done by yourself. Everything must be done by you, and you must be, the person who pursues it and does it well and fantastically, and gets all the credit for it, etc., etc. That kind of thinking has burnt me out. I cannot. I spent several years, no, several months in a place called Kansas, wherein I physically completely and utterly destroyed myself and my legs, because I acquired deep vein thrombosis there. But and that was from an accumulation of years. But uh, during that period, I was so gung ho into thinking that I'm a Superman and that I should not need anything else but myself to take care of myself to get to where I need to go, and
Yeah.
everything will be all right so long as I pushed, and I pushed. I pushed my body to an extreme, and it nearly totally killed myself.
Mm,
The doctors were, and I had to go in. My what do you call it? My supervisor actually forced me to go in and have myself taken a look at because I was having tendencies of sleeping at work and nodding off. And then on top of that, I was also collapsing. I know as part of walking through the corridor, I was also collapsing because there was some strange pains coming, extremely painful pains coming through my legs, and I was just trying to get from my desk to go to the bathroom. It's like, and just to walk around, like, hey, this is just terrible. And I was slow, uh, um, that was just the mark of someone who was, especially at that time during COVID, was someone who was dying for some reason or another. And I totally ignored. Um, I was totally hell bent on not getting any help. But then, after speaking to my supervisor, who explicitly told me, "Please help me help you," that blew my mind. Help me help you, because you're going to be fired if I do not. What can I do for you? Can I take you to the place? Do I need to bring you in every morning? What is going on? You know, and there was a cry for from him, and I felt it, for me to take care of myself logically, take care of myself, go to the hospital, get checked out, find out what's wrong, get fixed, come back. Don't get fired for something that you could have resolved, you know, yourself earlier. So I went and got myself fixed, looked at, and only to discover that I was lucky to be alive, and and also to discover that situation. A whole lot of people in the United States have this situation, deep vein thrombosis, and it's a killer. It's a total killer. It's one of the worst killers, here in the United States, born out of stress and born out of not correctly taking care of yourself. But this is the we type of thing that leads into not refusing to get support, refusing to hear what other people have to say. And at the same time, I also got to find out that not a lot of people in Uganda talk about this, and yet a lot of people in Uganda drop dead, especially men, um, very fast, because they're not talking about their ailments. They're not talking about what they're going through. They're not talking about how they're feeling. They just drop dead, and then they leave their families to whom? To whom? Because you have a wife, you have children, you have all these, and they're small people, small kids. When you're dropping dead at what? At 30, at 20, because of the stress that you've accumulated upon yourself going back and forth. Yes, you're a good father and everything like that, but since you're not talking, how is anybody supposed to help you? Huh? How is anybody supposed to help you make your life easier? And that's a big it's a big thing. Women talk a lot. They go through stressful situations and they talk, and they find ways to help themselves out through communication. Very basic, very simple, but it's the only thing that will enable us to literally, literally force us as a group to live better, and not go into wars because we're so silent and we're so adamant that our way is the right way. It is not right. Our way is not always the right way. There are many other ways. There are many other ways to live in this world. Biology teaches us there's so many ways in which you can accomplish the same task. You just need to talk. If you're struggling, talk, communicate, you'll find it. Do not give up on yourself, and talk, please, before you end up like me, suffering. Because to this date, I have not been completely healed. I'm struggling through to get there. I'm doing better and better, but I'm not completely 100% where I used to be. And I'm, what, 53 now? It's been more than, what, 14 years? Hey. So the struggle continues, and as I continue, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's where I leave it. And I'm glad that you asked me a good question. In fact, I'm glad you brought this question up because it's very touching and it's something that I'm very passionate about. Thank you.
Wow. I was just blown away listening to you, Brother Cam. Firstly, I want to say thank you so much for being vulnerable. And this is a perfect example of what vulnerability means for any man out there. You are listening to us, or you'll be watching the replay or the show later on. It's it's okay to share. It's okay to go in details and really tell about how you feel. And something you said in the conversation that stood out for me is help me to help you. That was very profound. That was a mind drop, from you said your mentor, your boss at work, help
Yeah,
me to help you. And I
for
think a
me,
lot
it
of
was
men,
earth shattering. It was earth
yes,
shattering. I moved because of that. I actually literally moved. So yeah, thank you very much for acknowledging that. Please continue. I'm
yes,
sorry for disturbing you.
yes. It's so amazing that because how do we support men can also come on. How do we support you? People need to tell us how do we support you. We can help them to help us. We can share with them so that they know how to be able to come in to support us. And that's a question that a lot of us as men will need to ask ourselves. And we need to tell ourselves. And we need to come to a very intentional place to say, I need to help people to help. And we should not get to that place where we're already at our break point before we begin to share. A lot of people, we're already in the rush hour, in that break even point, in that point where we feel, all hope is lost, all is gone before we begin to share. We don't have to get to that point. And Brother Cam, you also mentioned something that, most of the time, men want to take all the glory. Men want to take all the accolade because as man, that's the way we are being groomed to always be, up there to do things, to do that. And like you said, we want to do everything all by ourselves. We want to sort out, we want to find a solution, we want to do it all by ourselves. And that's where delegation, working as a team, being part of a community, it's very, very important. One can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. It's even in the Bible. So instead of you trying to figure it all out by yourself, finding the solution, applying the solution, making sure the solution is being followed, and at the end of the day, still looking after the result, it is so stressful. And that's why you see that most men are looking older than their age. Somebody told
That
me
is
this.
true. Can I add? Can I add?
Yes,
I'd
go on,
also
brother.
like to add. There is a thing that we call the African baobab tree.
Yeah.
That baobab tree is a great tree, but it does not grow to the strength and greatness and even years that it finally accomplishes as it grows without the help of the earth, without the help of the environment, without the natural resources that are around it. It will not accomplish that without that help. So if you really want to grow and become big and great, really you got to submit and get help from your environment, from everybody, because that's the only way you can actually be resilient and grow. Like the African baobab tree.
Mm.
I That's a good example right there, I believe. But I leave it up to you there.
Yes, yes, Veronica. There's so much to share on this topic. There's so much to share, especially for us from the African background, like Mr. David said earlier, men of color. There's so much to talk about when it comes to this conversation. And to be honest, there's so much sentiment around it. And that's why we're having this honest conversation. Putting all the sentiment in view, and then what's the way forward? What can we do? How can we make it possible? Because at the end of the day, talking about this is not necessarily about fixing men in quotes. It's not about fixing men or I want to fix. No, It's about reminding them that we are here for you. It's about reminding men that we are there for you. Yes, all the problem might not be solved or talked out at a go. All the solution might not be there to fix this. But then to remind men that it's okay, even though the solution might not be here, but having that sense of safety, that sense of encouragement that we are here for you makes a huge difference. And all you said today, it's very profound. Thank you so much, um, Mr. Kam. Yes, Mr. Kenneth, thank you so much for inviting. I invited all 1 million of my friends here today. Thank you so much for that great invitation. We really, really appreciate you because it's a conversation that we need to talk about. When we're talking about this, it's only few space I've seen that really dive in and talk about this when it comes to men. It's only few spaces. And it's high time that we begin to bring this conversation again and again and just talk about it. And everything that our brother Cam shared, it's so powerful. And just to remind us again, as a man or any man out there, just to encourage you, I know there is so much you want to do. There's so much you want to face. And there's this feelings of if I don't face it, nobody will face it. If I don't do it, nobody will do it. If I don't give it my time, my resources, my all, nobody's going to do it for me. Yes, we all have the feeling, but in the midst of these feelings, there is still a way out when it comes to delegation. When it comes to be able to say, you know what, I don't have to do it all by myself. I know I'm supposed to, but then I don't have to. Who can support me? Who can help me? Who can I delegate for? Who can I tell about this? Who can I share this thought with? And being able to ask for support, it's very, very important. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of men are looking much more older than their age, looking much more older because of this stress within that we have buckled in, that we have consumed, that is making us feeling those pressure within us. So it's very important that we are able to share, that we are able to ask questions, that also be vulnerable and let people to be able to say, yes, this is what I'm going through. And our brother Khan made a very profound statement. It's yes, he's still recovering from that which he had to go through. Sometimes we don't even realize that we are at that break point of our life as men. We don't even realize that the pressure is too much until it's too late. We don't actually realize that, well, my body cannot take this anymore until it gets too late. So I encourage you out there as a man, do not allow it get too late before you ask for help. Do not allow it get to that break point before you go and say, oh, I need somebody to help me. At this very moment, what that thing you're going through right now, what's that challenge you might be facing at this moment of your life? And for you, you feel sometimes one of the reasons that men do not share is they feel ashamed to talk about it. It's okay to be ashamed. It's okay to feel embarrassed about it. It's okay to have those feelings. At the end of the day, those feelings doesn't bring the solution that you need. But asking for help can bring the solution you need. Talking to somebody, asking for help, just having somebody to just be there to listen, to encourage you, goes a long way to make a huge difference. We actually have a question here. Yes, yes. I said, what does genuine support for men look like? Yes, say, what does genuine support for men really, really look like? When we're talking about Jenny support. Yes, thank you so much, Brother Cam. Say you have moved to the floor so that other persons can come up. Yes, if you want to be part of the conversation, the link is in the comment section. If you are joining on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Twitch, we're also on Twitch right now, streaming on Twitch. Feel free, the link is in there to join us on the stage and be able to share your thoughts, to be able to encourage other men out there. Your story as a man can impact another man. Your experience as a man can make a huge difference in somebody else's life. So feel free to be part of the conversation, and we'll be so glad to bring you up so that you can be able to share your thoughts. Now, the question is, What does genuine support for men look like? And this question came up also when I was having a conversation with few men within the week, about this topic. And at the end of the day, for some persons, it may look like, oh, they're acting like they want to support, but it's always a give and take. It's always, what can you offer me for me to offer you? What's my gain? Or what am I getting from being there for you? What am I getting from being from listening to you? And that's where sometimes most men tend to, buckle up, because for most people, what they call support can be for selfish reasons. Yes, what a cause support can be for personal gain. Oh, I'm here for you. As long as you can do this for me, I'm here for you. As long as I can get this from you, I'm here for you. And that's where it's more like a trade by barter. It's more like an exchange conversation. It's more like an exchange settings. And that's the reason why most men do not tend to share, because they believe that the person who, in quotes, are saying they are there for them, they are not really there for the sake of being there, but actually because of what they can actually get in return. And for men, I'm speaking from my personal experience, and also from conversation I've had with a lot of men, down the years, and especially within this week. It's more like, yes, this person said they are there for me, but they actually needed something from me, and that's why they say they are there for me. So the question is, yes, if you don't want to come up on stage, you can drop in the comment. We can always highlight it and share your thought on the screen. Is, what does genuine support for men look like? When we say we are truly supporting men, what's your take on this? What does it look like? Because it's our time we really need to have this honest conversation. It's, if you say you are there for me, or you are there for him, are you truly there for him? Or you are there because of what you want to get? Or you are there because of what you want to get? Or you are there because of what you will get in return for just being in the picture, for just being there? So that's why it's very important that the sincerity of our heart, and while we are there, it's very important, because men needs to feel that you are truly and genuinely there with them. We need to feel that you are truly there for us. By the time people begin to feel like, ooh, maybe it is because of what I'm getting, maybe it's because of XYZ, that's why you are there, they tend to buckle up again. That's how we have to truly be sincere. If you are putting yourself out there to say, I want to be there for you, it has to come from a place of authenticity. It has to come from a place of realness. It has to come from a place of really genuine conversation. I say, I'm really there for you. So it's very important. The genuine support has to come from the heart. When we say genuine, it has to be genuine. I'm supporting you. I'm loving you because you deserve to be loved. This is very, very, very important. This is very, very important. Yeah, thank you so much, Linda, for shouting out David. Yes, yes, is it for shouting out Cam. Thank you so much, Cam, for being here. Yes, Mr. Jimenez is of the beauty. Thank you so much. He's saying yes, many men are there for friends than strangers. At who I don't, okay, many men are okay. Uh, thank you so much. Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Mr. David said, offering support with the expectation of acknowledgement, or a tit for tat, is transactional, and it's not showing true kindness and empathy for your fellow humans. Amazing. Thank you so much for that. Yes, if I'm showing you support for the sake of being acknowledged, or for tit for tat, or for a transactional purpose, it does not really show a genuine support. So we have to sit down and ask ourselves, if I say I'm supporting my brother, my friend, my colleague, my co-worker, or the man in my life, am I truly genuine about it? Because it is very, very important. Are you truly genuine about it? Is it from your heart? Are you doing it because of acknowledgement? Are you doing it because you want something in return? We need to ask these questions, because at the end of the day, when we say we are showing kindness, it has to be, we are showing love and care, it has to be from, kindness and empathy is real. And there's something I've learned again, it's, you know, energy cannot be faked. No matter how much you fake it, the person will actually feel it. We actually know that you are truly there for them with all sincerity of heart, and you're actually there for them, you know, for being there and for being real. So thank you so much, Mr. Stanley Green, for being here with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Happy Friday. Yes, it's always great and it's a privilege to have you join us on this show. And thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you so much. Yes, you know, it's very important that we are actually there for people. The sincerity of hearts, it cannot be denied. People know when you are sincerely there for them. You don't have to say it. No, but you can feel truly there for them. Yes, you can fake it at the first attempt, but as time goes on, people can actually find out, people can actually know. And that's why when it comes to support for men, on how do we support men, it has to come from a place of authenticity. You have to come from a place of trueness to be able to say, if I'm there for you, I'm there for you. So I'm not trying to hide it. I'm not trying to bend it. I'm not trying to do. But if I'm there for you, I'm really, really there for you. Yes, Mr. Jimenez says men help friends easier than stranger because a friend's relationship already vouch for them. There is no risk for their image. Helping a stranger means exposing vulnerability with no track record to protect them. Yes, I love that school of thought, to be able to be vulnerable, to your friend. I know some persons might say otherwise. They will say, oh, it's better you share your vulnerability with strangers who do not even know anything about you, because at the end of the day, if they are strangers after all. But your thought is saying it is better to share it with your friends, the people who you know, who you trust, who over time you have been together. There's a track record of consistency, there's a track record of commitment, there's a track record of trust and love within. And for you to be able to share with them, it's very, very important. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Jimenez, for that. He said, it's not that men don't care, it is that they are managing risks to status. What made it harder now is men used to be born without trying. Yes, without trying. Same job site, same church, same barber shop, same plateau for 20 years. These spaces have thinned out. Fewer men are close enough to count as someone you do help, even though the need for support hasn't gone anywhere. It's true. Sometimes the bond, the reconverse. You can see women when they go to the salon, they talk, they share things, they just have random conversation. Go see them at the grocery shop or at the place, where women can be. You can see them talking. But these days, it's hard for you to see men gathering together and have this honest conversation. And like you said, sometimes it used to be like in a barber shop or in the same job, in the same church settings, where you begin to see men have this honest conversation. But then in the world we live in today, because of the social media and because of everything happening around, more people are secluded. More men are secluded. More men are keeping to themselves. More men are in that idle state where they talk more to themselves rather than talking more to people. They talk more to themselves rather than talking to real persons like friends, where you can see face to face or talk heart to heart. A lot of men have been in that idle place. Why? Because why? The spaces where we tend to meet, and have this conversation. It's no longer there anymore. Why? Because of the evolution of technology and because of the way things are being going. And bringing those things back, I think, can play a huge role in having this honest conversation. I think it used to be more where we tend to talk, have conversation, but now it's more like on the screen. I don't see my friends anymore as much as I want to, except on the screen like this, or maybe on a phone call, on a video call. We have gotten to that place. Before you have to travel miles, hundreds of miles, long distance to spend the weekend with your friends or have a coffee chat with your friend. But now I'm just picking a phone call and just say, "Oh, how are you?" You know, even though it has made it easier, but it has also made us lost that touch of humanity where we can have face-to-face conversation. Because when you're talking to me face to face, I can look deep into your eyes and I can know if you're really okay or if you're not okay. But just calling me on a phone call and just I can pretend on the phone and my voice can sound lively, can sound happy, but at the end of the day, I'm not that happy. So having these spaces where we can be able to sit down physically, have this real conversation, talk heart to heart, goes a long way to make this huge support and and we can be able to support more men. Yes, we have another question here that says, mm, yes, what role does empathy and encouragement plays in a man's well-being? When I thought about this, I use myself as a case study as an example, and also for other persons I've spoken with. The role that empathy and encouragement plays can never be overemphasized and can never be spoken too much about because we live in a world where many persons are not really empathetic, especially towards men. And I think Mr. David mentioned something earlier when it becomes transactional. Imagine being a father in a house. Let me use a father as a case study. And the only time that maybe your wife comes to you or the children comes to you is only when, oh, daddy, I need this, or my husband, I need this. You know, Many persons find themselves in spaces like this, where the only time that you tend to really have conversation with people is when something is at stake. Is when something is needed, something has to be given out. That's when people begin to say, okay, let me ask a real conversation. But life is beyond that. Life is beyond that. Be in a place where I don't need anything from you, but I'm just calling to check up on you, to know how you're faring, to know how you're doing, to know how your week has been. These are kind of, you know, spacey. These are kind of feelings that men need. It's not only when we something is at stake we need to give. So having empathy is very, very important. So I was speaking to somebody, because he was supposed to do something for the family, and because he could not do it at that point in time, nobody cared to ask what happened or why were you not able to do it. The question was always, you did not do it. You did not do what you said you would do. You didn't show up when you said you would show up. You were not there when we needed you. You were not there when you were supposed to be there. As much as, yes, the person is supposed to be there when they are to, but things happen behind the scene that we don't see. Things happen behind the scene that we don't understand. But the ability for us to ask question, okay, I know you didn't show up, but what happened? I know you were not there when you said you will be there, but what happened? I really want to know what happened. I really want to know what went on behind the scene. I tell you, just this question, as small as it is, as little as it sounds, goes a long way to make the person, yes, I know I didn't show up when I wanted to show up. Of course, I acknowledge, I admit it, but nobody even cares about why you didn't show up. Nobody even pay attention to why you didn't show up. So we live in a world where people are more focused on the wrong, on what you didn't do, or what you didn't make happen, rather than what happened behind the scene that stopped you, from doing what you say you were supposed to do. People are all about the glory. People are all about the doing, the accomplishment, the success, the victory. But not many persons pay care attention to the process. All you have to go through, the variables that happen behind the scene that either helped you get there or stop you from getting there. And that's why empathy and encouragement is very, very important. Just picking up a call to call that man or that friend or that brother or that uncle or that co-worker or that colleague to say, how are you? How has been your week? I hope it was good. You know, can just go a long way to make their week go on. Or just picking a call to say, well, you know what? I know it might be tough right now, but I just want you to know that I believe in you. And I know that you can succeed. I know that you can achieve your goals. It's far much more than what you can imagine. Just the words of encouragement. Last month, no, okay, in the month of May, we're already in July, so I was thinking that thing. So in the month of July, I lost my brother. And it was a month where I had to go through so much emotion, so much feeling, so much questioning and asking God, why? But then I had some persons in my life, friends, and colleagues who had to put a call across, sometimes every day, week, 2 days intervals, every weekend, just to make sure you say, no, Zion, let's talk. How are you feeling? Tell me, how are you doing? Or let's pray together. Uh, uh, I'm calling to just encourage you, to tell you I'm here with you. You know, those calls, those text messages went a long way to actually make me feel better, make me feel loved, made me feel supported, made me feel seen, and made me feel heard. And I tell you, encouragement and empathy is very, very important. At that moment, I didn't know how much I needed it. I didn't know how much I needed the call. I didn't know how much I needed the encouraging words. I didn't know how much I needed somebody to just say, you know what, Zion, I love you so much. I'm there. I didn't know how much I needed it until I had it. Until somebody had to say it to me, and I'm like, whoa, well, I really needed this in my life. I really needed this right now to make it through this journey. Yes, Mr. Gemini says, um, yes, these conversations help bridge brotherly love and men to men communication. Yes, when we have conversations like this, it helps us to build brotherly love and men to men conversation. How men help men, men support men encourage men. It's very, very important. Yeah, Mr. Davis says, men, we should be holding spaces for each other over visually in person and always express gratitude. The power of gratitude is limitless. Very powerful. Holding spaces like this. Yes, of course. You know, for most of us, we are 1,000 miles apart. For me, I'm in Nigeria, and David is in the UK, Mr. Kenneth, and Mr. Jimenez, and a few other persons are in the US. But the ability for us to see whole spaces like this visually can go a long way to really help us support each other. And I love what you said about gratitude. Yes, it's very, very important that we are able to express gratitude. You know, sometimes we get so busy as men, that we don't really appreciate what we have already, that we don't really appreciate the progress. You know, we are so focused on the next big thing. We are so focused on how can I make people happy, or how can I show up as a man, how can I meet up as a man, how can I achieve my goal as a man, that we forget that we have had progress thus far. My mentor will always say, progress is progress, no matter how soon. And with the power of gratitude, we can be able to recognize and appreciate the progress that we've made. And I must tell you, as a man, no matter the level you are right now, and no matter the challenges you are facing right now, the circumstances you might be right now, for you, it might be a job. For you, it can be finances, paying your bills. For you, it can be relationship, you know, be there for your children, for your spouse, for your parents. Or for you, it can be a matter of your health that you're struggling with. I just want you to know that you've made so much progress thus far. The way you were at the beginning of the year, it's not the way you are right now as we began the second half of the year. And the ability for us to take a pause and be grateful for the journey thus far as a man can make a huge difference in making us feel better and making us feel seen. And sometimes for you, it's just for you to remind the man in your life, for them to see the progress that they've made. So one way for us to be able to support men is remind men to be grateful. Yes, remind the man in your life, remind them to stay grateful, remind them to be grateful. Oh, my husband, I just want to remind you of the progress you made thus far. Oh, brother, uncle, father, colleague, co-worker, I want to remind you of these milestones you achieved this month, this week, this success you've had from the beginning of the year. So remind me to stay grateful. That's one way for you to be able to support me. Because as a man or as men, we tend to just keep going and going and going without having to take a pause. While we know that, oh, when this one is being achieved, there's something else to achieve. So to remind a man in your life to say, well, as a man, stay grateful. You have to stay grateful. You have to acknowledge the blessings you have in your life. You have to acknowledge the goodness in your life. It's very important and it goes a long way to make men, feel better, make them feel seen, make them feel supported. Yes, Mr. David also said, yes, encouragement, positive word, a hug, a listening ears. Yes, we have the power to uplift with encouragement. Your chief encouragement officer approves. Indeed, we have the power to always encourage people. Like I said, you don't know how much people need it. You don't know. Sometimes a big hug can go a long way. No words, no comments, but a big hug. Just holding me and giving me a big hug, can go a long way to make a huge difference. About 3 years ago, I had an encounter with an older lady. I was helping her in a house to fix something, and after fixing, I just had this prompting in my heart to just encourage her. I didn't know what she was going through because I didn't know her personally. I was called to help her do a job, and I did it to help her fix something in her kitchen. So I helped her fix it. She was the only person in the house, and after just saying a word of encouragement, I was like, please, can I give you a big hug? It just came out from who I am as a person. Like, can I give you a big hug after the encouragement? And I gave her a big hug and to encourage her. And she broke down in tears and said, you know what? I don't know I'm telling you this, but then 3 years, about 5 years before that, is the she had lost her son. And she said the last time that somebody has really given her a big hug like this is her son, when her son was alive. Funny enough, I didn't realize that. I didn't know about the story, but because I had this in me to always encourage people around me, to support people around me, I just felt it. I said, okay, you know what? Let me encourage her beyond just walking and, show my level of support. And just because of the big hug, it's it helped her to go through her healing process. And she broke down in tears. And sometimes the people in our life do not need words, do not need multitude of words, because the solution might not be in the multitude of words, can just be in that feeling of trust, in that feeling of being supported, and just holding the person's hand and say, you know what, I'm here for you. Or giving somebody a warm hug to say, you know what, I'm here for you. I see you, I love you, I support you, goes a long way to make a huge difference. Yes, Dr. Dorota is in the building. Welcome. Thank you so much, Dr. Dorothea, all the way from Metro Denver. So good to see you. We appreciate you so much. Yes, our brother Cyrus, thank you. He says sometimes the best form of support is standing with a man in solidarity and in silence. Of course, no words, no comments, but just standing, holding a man's hand can go a long way to be the best form of support that you can give them. Sometimes we might not need words. All we need is to have that feeling of that sense of trust, that sense of knowing that you are there for us, to support us, to listen to us, to encourage us, goes a long way to actually make us feel good, to actually make us feel held, to actually make us feel seen, to actually make us feel very, very important. It's so amazing. And I'm very grateful that this conversation is coming right now at this point in time because a lot of persons needs to hear this. A lot of men especially needs to be reminded of the need for us, to have this support, to have this encouragement. Yes, help me to help you indeed. Yes, if you want to be part of the conversation, that's the link up there. Oh, I'm trying to find the link now. Okay, yep, that's it. That's the link. Feel free to join in and just chime in on the conversation so that we can be able to support more men and encourage more men out there. You know, I was talking to somebody within and he brought something in the comment. He said, I think we as men, we are not getting opportunity because we are men. More of the opportunities you see are more reserved for the women than the men. Why? Because we are male. We have to fight for all. We have to dig in deeper to find opportunities. I like it. Yes, of course, it's true. It happens. Peop- I know people can share this because they've already gone through it. So one way for us to be able to also support men is when we see an opportunity that can help a man, maybe a job opportunity, as the case may be, a recommendation can go a long way to recommend and say, you know what, I think you are a good fit. Ooh, yes. I was thinking of stage. Wow. Yeah, this glitches happens. Amazing, amazing. Thank you. I'm back. If you are still there, just drop in a comment. If you are still here with us, it's so good to have everyone. Just drop in a comment for us to know that you are still here with us. And like I said, if you want to join us on stage, feel free. That's the link, and we'll be glad to have you. And we have this last question before we call it a wrap for today. And it's very easy. It's very simple. Now, for anyone out there, if you are to if you are to say something nice to a man right now, what will that be? That's the question. If you are to say something nice to a man right now, what will that be? What will that be for you? Yes, I would love to see your comment coming in. If you are to say something nice to a man right now, you want to encourage a man in your life, you want to support a man in your life, what would that be? What will you say to them? How will you encourage them? What's that word in your heart right now that can impact somebody, can support somebody, that can make somebody's life better? Feel free, drop in the comments so that more men can be able to see this. Now, the reason why, if you want to come up on stage, feel free to come up on stage. We would love to see that. If you can't come up on stage and you want to drop in your comments, feel free to also drop in your comment. We're going to highlight it on the screen and be able to, so that more persons can be able to see. Now, the question is simple. If you are to say something nice to a man right now, what will that be? What that word right now in your heart that you want to say to that man in your life, to that male figure in your life, maybe to your husband or to your spouse, to your friend, to your colleague, to your co-worker, that you know that can encourage them, can support them. Feel free, drop in the comments. My StreamYard is not showing some comment now. Maybe let me log in and see if there's a comment coming on from LinkedIn or from other social media platforms so that we can be able to highlight them on the screen. Yes, keep the comment coming because it's very, very important that we are able to encourage men. Yes, yes, this is life. This is life. We are live here. Yeah, Gabe, welcome. We appreciate you. This is live, and if you want to be part of the conversation, feel free. We can be part of the conversation. We'll be so glad to have you. You know, being here with us. Yes, it is live. The question remains: if you want to encourage a man right now in your life, what would that be? What's that word of encouragement that you need to say to that man right now to encourage them, to support them, to to make them feel good, to make them feel seen, to make them feel held and feel supported? Feel free, drop in the comments, and let's support more men together. For me, there's so much to say. There's so much to share when it comes to about saying something nice to men because as a man, you know, I know what it means to have that feeling of trust or that words of encouragement to just keep to find hope to keep living and to keep pushing every day of my life. So if I were to say something nice to a man right now, what would that be? It's to remind you that you are enough. Yes. You know, we tend to forget that sometimes as men we feel inadequate or we feel that we are not doing enough. Oh, it is because I'm not doing enough. That's why this is not happening in my life. It is because I'm not doing it. That's why this is not. We feel that we're not doing enough. But I just want to encourage you as a man that you are enough. And being enough is not a function of your skin color. It's not a function of your background. It's not a function of your financial status, your social status, whatever status it is. It's not a function of those. It's a function of who you are and how much you recognize who you are. So, my word of encouragement for you today is to remind you that you are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You are enough. You must be able to recognize that. You must be able to acknowledge the fact that you are enough. Tell yourself every day that you are enough. For me, I have affirmations I make every day, especially before I start my day. I always affirm myself. And this what I just said is part of the word. Zion, you are enough. No matter the challenge you are facing right now, no matter the circumstances, no matter how I am feeling or how overwhelming it might be, I am enough. So you have to remind yourself every day that you are enough. You are enough. I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to hear it. You are enough. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of kindness. You are worthy of compassion. You are worthy. So don't say you don't need love as a man. Don't say, oh, I don't care. Love is not for me. It's for you. You must recognize it. You must acknowledge it for you to feel it. If you don't recognize love, if you don't acknowledge it, there's no way you can feel loved. So you deserving of love. You are deserving of kindness. You are deserving of every good thing that life has to offer you. But you must acknowledge and admit it that you deserve it. Because a lot of us as men, we just feel, oh, I don't have time to be loved. I don't have that time to be loved. You have the time. You need to create time. The time to be loved doesn't just happen, doesn't just come. You create time for it. For anything good that you want to feel, you want to experience, you must create time for it. Create time to be loved. By receiving love, when people show love, learn to receive love. Learn to receive love because you are loved. As a man right now, under the sound of my voice, you're joining us live, you're going to be watching the replay. I just want to remind you that you are loved, you are supported. In fact, you are the best. Always see yourself as the best. Don't look at the current situation right now. Don't look at what is happening. You are the best. Being the best doesn't mean you have it all figured out. Being the best of yourself doesn't mean everything is okay, everything is all right. It's a choice you have to make. And that's why for me, I'm always very intentional about mindset, positivity, and how we can push it out there to the world. Men need to realize and keep seeing themselves in a positive light, in a positive way. Don't judge yourself based on your limitations. But that's what most men do. We judge ourselves based on our limitations, based on the things that we cannot do. Instead, praise yourself on the things you can do. Praise yourself on your strength. As a man, don't judge yourself based on your shortcomings. Don't judge yourself based on your weakness. Instead, judge yourself based on your strength. From the moment I began to judge myself based on my strength, I tell you, I did much more than I could ever imagine. I saw so high. I did extremely much more. So learn to focus on your strength. What's that thing you are so good at? What that thing that you don't even have to think twice to do it and do it well. So you have to learn to appreciate your strength, not just once in a month or once in a year, every day of your life. Every day, every day. So I encourage you, it's very important that we pay attention to things like this. Yes. Dr. Dorothy says, say, while living in anger does not serve you or the world, embracing positivity and sending it out into the world will bring it back to you tenfold. Powerfully said, profoundly said. For me, I can attest to this. Embracing positivity and sending it out to the world can always come back to you. If there's one way I found encouragement in myself, is the ability for me to encourage other persons with my positivity, with my energy, with my mindset, with my smile, with my life. Sometimes we don't really realize that the impact we make has a ripple effect that come back to us in a positive way. When I make somebody else feel good, feel loved, it comes back to me as well. It comes back to me. So the ability for us to send it out. Don't be selfish about the positivity. Don't be selfish about the energy you have. I love when Mr. David always says he's a chief encouragement officer. Yes, freely have we received, freely we give it to other persons. And I tell you, if you can make other people's life better, it's going to come back to you in ways that you can never imagine. It might not be from the same person, but God knows how to put all together to work out for your good. So encouraging other persons also bring back the encouragement to us. So thank you so much, Dr. Dorothea, for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Yes, my brother David says, my message, you are enough, you are loved, and you are joy and wisdom. Stay encouraged. Indeed, very, very powerful. Very powerful. To any man out there, David is telling you that you are enough, you are loved, you are joy and wisdom. Stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. You are joy. You are joy. You are love. You are enough. So don't look down on yourself. This is coming from another man to you to tell you that you are enough. Maybe you are telling yourself that you don't feel the conviction. This is us reminding you again to say that you are enough. You are enough. You are loved, and you are supported. Yes, thank you so much, um, Mr. Kenneth, for helping us with the link again. Thank you so much. Yes, for anyone you want to be part of the conversation, we're already winding down. So feel free to quickly jump in and also help us encourage other men out there who needs to hear this. The truth is, men are really struggling. Men are struggling. We must admit it. Men are struggling. Men are going through so much. Men are going through a lot that they might not be able to see it out. But it's our time we start asking men questions. How are you today? They can say they are fine, but how are you really? Tell me, I really want to know how are you really? And it's very, very important. And we're just sharing words of encouragement. If there's something you need to say to a man out there, you want to shout a man out, feel free, come up on stage, let's encourage more men. No, this week we are focusing on men, but next week we're going to be shifting the conversation to women, how we can support women, because it's very important we have to balance this equation. Because as much as men are struggling, women too are also struggling, and the ability for us to support each other, to support one another, goes a long way and makes the journey very, very important. Creating a world, creating a community where people feel loved, where people feel heard, where people feel supported, whether you're a male or female, you know, where people feel that care, that people are there for them, people are there to encourage them, to support them, makes a real huge difference in our society. I know people don't talk about this anymore. People are all about, the government, the economy, job, finances. But at the end of the day, it is us. It is we. It is you. It is me. And the ability for us to stand with one another goes a long way. For me, I've experienced what it means to have a community stand by you. I've experienced what it means to have friends standing by you as a man. And that's why I can boldly come and share with you on stage and have this effect from other persons as well. I know what it means. I didn't just know by assumption or by what I read in books. No, I know by personal experience. I've firsthand, I've seen it, I've experienced it, how people have supported me, people have showed me love, and how it made my journey much more better. How it made me much better, more happier, more joyful, more wiser, more encouraged, and to even find purpose in doing what I'm called to do is because of the support system I have. Having that community is very, very important. And not just about having them, but how they make me feel. They feel safe, they feel love, they feel trusted. That I felt at those moments of my life where I was going through so much tough time or circumstances, having the support goes a long way. I've gone a long way to make my life better. And it can also make your life better too. Maybe you don't know who to ask or you don't know who to talk to. Reach out to us. And that's how we are there. Myself and a few other men in the comment section. We are a community. We are a support system. So we are beyond just being a LinkedIn connection. Beyond that, we are a family. We are a community. And we are very intentional about supporting each other, about supporting one another. And this support that we're talking about has a ripple effect. If one man can be happy, it's going to make two other men happy. And if the two other men can be happy, they're going to make 10 other men happy. So you see how it goes in the upward trajectory, that if one man can be happy, he can go on to make hundreds and a thousand of men happy. If one man can be supported, if one man can feel safe, if one man can feel heard, it goes a long way to also make sure that other men feel safe, other men feel heard, other men feel supported. It's very, very important that we are able to to do this, to acknowledge this, and to see that yes, we are all there for each other. I encourage us in everything that you do. I always say this: make sure you lead with love. Make sure you lead with kindness. Make sure you are leading with compassion. Make sure you are leading with empathy, because you don't know who might need it. And by leading with all these virtues, that's how we can make the world a better place. That's how we can make the world a better place. That's how we can make the world a more safer place, where people are in that place, where they don't just see, they feel it, they know it, they experience it, because it is the experience that makes the difference. It is the experiential feeling that we have of being supported, of being loved, that actually makes the difference. When you're telling people about or feel love or being loved, they might not really fully understand what you mean until they tend to experience it firsthand, the experiential knowledge. And we all have a key role to play. If you're under the sound of my voice, you have a role to play in making sure that the man in your life is being supported. Men support men, women support men. We all support each other. We all support one another. And by sharing the support, we can be able to make the world a better place and have more people, you know, more happier, more joyful, more wiser, and more supportive. Well, it's been an empowering conversation. For me, I'm encouraged as well. I know that for as many persons who have joined us today or will be watching the replay, you'll be encouraged too. Why? Because we have shared so much from our personal experiences, and practical ways that we can be able to support men. And we believe that this will go a long way to help make our life better, to help make us feel supported. You know, Even as we wait for more persons to join us on stage, and just to let us know that this event holds every Friday. We show up every Friday with one message of positivity. Yes. Positivity is not negotiable. It's what we all need to embrace in this time and in this season because we live in a world where so much is going on, so much negativity from the war, from the news, famines, and everything happening. But the ability for us to intentionally embrace the mindset of positivity is very important and it's key. So we host this event every Friday, same time, 7 p.m. UK time, West African time, 2 p.m. Eastern time zone, 11 a.m. Pacific time zone. You can join us. We'll be so happy. We'll be so glad to have you join us and be part of the conversation. All right, we have Pastor in the building. Thank you so much. Welcome, brother. Yes, go ahead. Yes, you are muted. You can unmute your mic and say, well, we cannot hear you. Your mic is muted. You can unmute your mic and be able to share. We really love to hear your thoughts on this and what word of encouragement you will have for anyone out there who is listening to you right now. Yes, Saros, are you there? Can you hear me? Oh, well, I hope you'll be able to speak anytime soon.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you for joining us on stage. We appreciate you. Go for it.
It's a pleasure. How's it going? You okay?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. How are you? How are you doing?
I feel great. Thanks for asking. It's a nice evening here in Manchester. Um, y- your live event has been such a beautiful and powerful and empowering um, um, live event so far, as per your previous ones, and I'm really grateful to be here. Um, Talking to you, fantastic and amazing people. So, regarding how we can, my name is Cyrus, by the way. Um, uh, Regarding how we can support a man, um, I I personally think um, there are times when a person needs either validation um, regarding the usefulness in this world. Seldom, yes, you are useful. You're not useless because we all feel like that at some point. Even though I highly dislike that word useless because nothing and no one is useless, right? Even a random blade of grass is a really highly useful medicine that hasn't been discovered yet, right? So nothing and no one is useless. It's us not being able to find the use in that thing or in that person, right? So women usually, both men and women need validation, right? So whether their usefulness or the way they feel and the experience they are having, this life that we are living on this earth is more or less the same, poorer or richer. We are all stuck on this massive rock that is traveling in the space at thousands of miles away, at thousands of miles per hour, right? So they're all stuck on it, right? And so more or less we're all similar. But when you're providing support to a woman, you want to focus on validating on how they feel and reminding them that they are safe. So these two really important elements and factors should be observed when you're talking to the female of the species. When you're talking to the male of the species, what you need to focus on, if you want to be effective, of course, if you want to be an effective supporter, you need to focus on telling them the experience that you're having will not be forever. You will be in that state of mind for a few hours or weeks or months maximum. If you want to perpetuate that and make it longer, it's up to you. But what do men suffer with mostly? They either lose money or someone nearest or dearest to them, like a parent, wife, husband, child, pet, something that cannot be returned. That is one of the things that men need support for. Okay, when they go through grief, they lose the job sometimes. They go through grief. Yes, job also has a grief process, losing a job. And the other thing that men need, generally speaking, support for is feeling like they're not as effective as they're supposed to be. They're not. They haven't reached their potential.
Yeah.
That annoys the hell out of a man, right? And they yeah, they basically feel they're not as useful as they want to be. So if you want to solve a problem effectively, 99% of effectiveness is understanding the problem and why it has happened. And sometimes, as I said before in the comments, sometimes just being with them, just in solidarity and in silence, it goes a long way. And just like you said, you could give someone a hug, and that makes their day, or heck, it makes their year sometimes, because they feel like they are on their own. Because one of the worst things that a person experiences when they go through life's trials and tribulations is feeling alone in their experience, in this human experience, right? When they feel alone, there's nothing worse than that. And telling them you're not on your own.
Mm.
And finally, I'm going to finish on this. When you're dealing with a man, you can either tell them the problem that they are experiencing is something that is very common. Of course, if it is actually common, right? You can tell them it's a very common problem. Like, as an example, if they lost their car in an accident, you can tell them it's a very common thing. Thousands of people lose their cars every day or every month. If they lose their job, you can explain to them a lot of people are out of work, like for decades sometimes, so for years, right? And if the so that's one strategy, right? So explain to them the problem is very common and they should not feel alone in it. So when people understand that their experience is experienced by lots of other people, they don't feel alone anymore. They don't feel excluded, because exclusion and solitude is one of the outcomes and the results of feeling down, really, amongst men. And the other strategy, the other side of it is um, the other tactic is explain to them how rare their experience is.
Mm,
Explain to them as an example if they if they have been if they have lost their job, as an example, due to something they haven't done. You can explain to them that is not that common, right? And you are a very strong individual for going through what you're going and losing your job under those unfair circumstances, and it's not your fault, really, right? It shouldn't bring you down. It should make you. It should make you feel even empowered because you're a strong person, and remind them, um, if they believe in God, you can explain to them that God gives you troubles based upon your potentials. You can handle it. That's why that
mm.
problem has come your way. You can handle it. Otherwise, it wouldn't happen to you. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Saros. That was very
It's
powerful.
always
Before
a
you
pleasure.
go, yeah, before you go, if you had to encourage a man out there, what's one word you're going to tell them?
Say that again, sorry.
If you had to encourage a man out there, what's that one word of encouragement you will give to them?
Um, in terms of telling them one word, it's you can't you
Or it can be a sentence, no problem.
can't handle. Yeah, I mean, what no, what I say is you can't handle something as fragile and as complicated as a mind with one word and one sentence, right? But since you said sentence, right, I'm going to put it this way: problems are problems; they're not life sentences. So if you're going through a trouble, right, it's a problem, it's a trouble. It's not a life sentence. You're not supposed to. You're not convicted to carrying that boulder for the rest of your life, right? So um, drop it, okay? Um, and if you want to pick it back up and be upset again, stop being upset for a short while, right? Let's see how it feels, right? And if you felt uncomfortable not feeling upset, you can always be upset later, right? I guarantee that they will not go back to that state of mind, right?
Mm.
So the best thing is to show them your friend and explain to them that what they're experiencing is not forever. It's not a life sentence. It's just a problem this shall pass, right? That's my recommendation.
Wow, profound. Problems are problems, they are not life sentences. Thank you so much, Saros, for sharing your thoughts and be part of the conversation. And I love your insight also about validation. And Mr. Kenneth also stressed that and says everyone deserves validation. Everyone deserves validation, value, mutual appreciation, and respect. Indeed, you know, being able to let people know that, well, they are the best, they are amazing, and also what they are going through, it's not like they're not the first person going through it. Other persons are going through it, so don't feel too bad or don't feel too overwhelmed because you are experiencing this. Why? Because problems are there, challenges are there, but the ability to have people around us to respect us, to appreciate us, and support us is very, very important. So if you have a man in your life, appreciate them, respect them, and support them as much as you can because it goes a long way to make a huge difference. Men grief, men go through challenges, men go through life circumstances. But having you in their life to always support them, encourage them, appreciate them, makes their life much more easier and they can be able to go through the journey much more effectively. So thank you so much, Saros, for that. We appreciate you and thank you
Thank
for
you so much.
sharing your
Yeah,
insights with
thank you
us.
so much. And Azion, I'm so proud of you. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. That means a whole lot. Can you imagine? That means a whole lot coming from you. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate you. And words like that is what help us to keep showing up every Friday because we know that somebody will be blessed, somebody will be encouraged, somebody will feel loved, supported, and heard, through this conversation we have in week in, week out. So thank you so much again. And yes, to everyone
Thank you.
who has joined us on today's edition, Thank you so much for being here with us. Mr. Kenneth, thank you for inviting 1 million of your friends. It's always good. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Mr. Gabe, thank you. Sarah, who just left the stage. Thank you so much. Mr. David Pushkin, thank you. We appreciate you. Dr. Dorothea, amazing. Thank you. Linda, um, Melanie, thank you so much. Mr. Annie, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you. And Professor Rosanna, amazing. Wow, it's so great having amazing people here to support us, to be part of the conversation. Mr. Jimenez as well. We'll see you. Yes, if I miss you, sorry, it's because I'm not seeing yet on my screen. But once I see it, definitely I'm going to shout you out. Linda, thank you so much. Leslie, yes, Leslie was here earlier. Thank you so much, Leslie, for being here with us. We appreciate you. Jerry Stalker, thank you for being here. We appreciate your presence. Um, yes, Liana, thank you, Liana. Melanie, again, thank you so much. Wallace, thank you for being here. Christy, yes, Christy was here earlier. Lisa Fervic, thank you so much. Wow, we had amazing people join us today. This event was possible because you are here with us. You are the real MVP. You are the one who made our event what it is today. And we sincerely want to appreciate you. We want you to know that we love you so much. Next week, we're going to be here again with this same conversation, but now we are going to be diving into how we can support the women in our life because women need support, women need to be loved, women need to be appreciated. And for all the men out there, we love you, we appreciate you, we see you. If you need to talk, if you need somebody to share with, feel free, reach out. We're always here to support you. We're always here to encourage you because we believe that together as men, we can do so much more. Together, we can reach out to our goal and to our destination. So thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We love you. We appreciate you. Don't forget, next week, Friday, we'll be here again to share in this empowering conversation. So don't forget that positivity is very, very important. In all you do, make sure you are doing it from a place of embracing it from a positive mindset. Because I always tell you, when you are positive, you are possible. And in positivity, it's always endless possibility for you, for me, and for every one of us. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great weekend. Every single moment is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrating with the without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.